All right, everyone, welcome back as we are, of course, ready to hop on into the second matchup of the night. It is going to be Ldlc taking on Ex-Fragsters, and of course, the Danes are going to be looking for a little bit of retribution from that previous matchup where they lost against Uruguay. So I think we're definitely going to have an interesting one between these two. And as you can see, Mitch, we are already kicking off the action. The pistol round is live, and it looks like we're going to have a very high-paced round as Ex-Fragsters immediately actually find an action towards the ramp, manage to come out on top of those trades. Oh, and another kill being found there from Dragonfly as well, able to actually drop Matend on that B-bomb site. That should be the plant coming in, and of course it is going to be now just Sixer and Twanu left to try and save the day. They don't have a defuse kit currently in their possession. And a CZ for Sixer as well is definitely an interesting choice. Long range, it will be tough for him to try and find those frags. Smoke going down towards the door so we can try and at least cut off some vision of the T's, and they are going to look to try and push forward. But it's not going to be easy, and there you go already. Torben able to find one. And it is going to be finished off by Nudios as Sixer falls. The opening pistol round going to be found for Ex-Fragsters on the T side here, and Nuke.
Indeed, indeed. 1-0, a strong start on the T side. It's always good to get those rounds clocking up early on, and this should grant them a second, as Ldlc likely to take an eco. Only a couple of P250s, majority P250s, but 2 USPs to back them up without any armor. Puts Ex-Fragsters way ahead in the prediction game here because they've got 3 SMGs, so they should melt their opponents. Look at this sneaky position for Mathand. He's gotten up close on outside, about to push on through the smokes. Might catch Torben off as he pushes down, but Torben, quick to react, turns on the coin and takes Mathand down as the B bomb site will soon be claimed for this T side.
Yeah, leaving Dragonfly back, actually, he should be able to find a pretty easy frag on the Twanu. Nice little bonus of $600. That's always nice for the Opera to find, especially. It'll be interesting to see whether he wants to actually get the Oppo. He actually can't. Not going to have enough. Stowen rather as well. Not going to be able to drop one over. So they may just stick with these SMGs. I wouldn't be too surprised if coming into this first gun round, rather, we see them go for another quick-paced round. Maybe something similar to what we actually seen from them on the pistol. But let's see how they're going to go for it, because, of course, not a lot of utility in play. Ldlc have actually prioritized getting the helmets out onto everyone due to the fact they knew they were up against so many SMGs. So that costs them quite heavily. They have no utility left with 1 minute and 45 seconds on the clock.
And they've very... Oh, wow, okay, very quick trades coming in. Twanu manages to find himself 3 to finish off that round. I was going to say very few players left on the CT side. I didn't think Twanu would be able to pull that much out. But very swiftly, a 1-2 scoreline develops. Ldlc now, they haven't got a whole lot of money in the back pocket. Remember, if they lose this round, Ex-Fragsters will be taking over. Presumably up around that 4 or 5-1 scoreline. If they can reset Ldlc now, certainly would offer them up a couple opportunities to build up the rounds, but that's easier said than done. Up against these 4 AUGs, XMS forced down to a 5-7 on the back of the damage done by Ex-Fragsters in the previous round. Oh, to push through the smoke. The foot is spotted by Torben, who again bests Mathand, despite Mathand really having a positional advantage. Coming through that smoke, edge of his screen, you'd imagine the majority of the time that Mathand would have a little bit of a jump. Of course, last time those two met, it was Mathand shooting at him from behind. Both times Torben's been able to take outside for himself.
Yeah, just about hanging on to life. Torben was, of course, taken quite low, which means he definitely will be a pretty easy target later on in the round. But right now, trying to make his way down Secret, XMS actually gets aggressive and finds the bomb. Problem is, he's not allowed to actually escape with his own life, so will be traded back out. The bomb pretty easily being retrieved by Nudios. And with that now, the 4v3 with the man advantage yet again going in favor of the Danes. And Ldlc, you get a little bit of a chance there actually spotting them in towards ramp, but as we can see now, the commitment, it is prepared. Ex-Fragsters are going to push forward, and there's going to be 2 players ready to try and hold this down. The question is, will they be successful? Ldlc actually already rotating in as well, is also here to help. Sixer from behind, going to be able to drop RTA. And suddenly it's a 2 versus 1, as it's actually only Sixer. Oh my god, Dragonfly, a very quick flick being connected, was tagged up by the nade. If he went down, Torben was only 3 health, so that would have been a very troublesome position, so a very important shot for him to actually connect right there.
Oh me, oh my, it's Dragonfly. What a kill and what a second secured for him. And indeed, the round 3-1 now for Ex-Fragsters puts them far ahead, as Ldlc have no armor. They're coming into this with just a couple of pistols. And this is a huge advantage early on the T side to be claiming this many rounds. As we look towards the CTs, there are a couple of upgraded pistols. You got to watch out for the likes of Matt Hend in there on a Deagle. He's holding ramp, head peeking, which puts him in a pretty even fight, really, when the AKs push on through. If he can land that first shot, just as good as the AKs are. But they won't be going towards ramp today, at least not in this round. The push towards outside is assured as the smokes go over. And Matt Hend, although he's usually situated here, isn't anywhere near outside this time. Nobody is. With pistols, I suppose you can see exactly why. You don't want to be taking too many long-range peeks, especially on outside, because so many of these angles are, you know, devoid of any cover. As Fragsters pushing towards this A bomb site, though, this is where things get a little bit risky for them. If the pistols can catch them off up close, but it doesn't look like it. They've got the information on where a couple of them are. You're relying on Matt Hend here to get the damage done. Finds damage on an Odios, but no kill.
Yeah, and I was going to say it doesn't seem like anyone's going to find a kill for Ldlc, but Twanu able to just go ahead and just about manage to actually find one there with the USP. So one frag comes in, it's an extra $300 into the bank for Twanu as well, but even with that, they don't really have the money to buy. So it looks like they're going to take an eco. Spending some excess cash, Ldlc gets out an auto shot and body armor to get some pistols alongside Kevlar as well. So it's a decent investment overall. There's definitely a chance for them to keep getting some damage done, but it should be 5-1 for Ex-Fragsters. They're in a great position very early on here on the T side of Nuke. Oh, and Ldlc, he just goes charging into ramp room and already gets taken down. A bit wild. I expected him more likely to play that like towards the hut perhaps, or on top of it. A little bit strange for him to just push straight into ramp room on his own.
You can see with this buy from Ldlc, like, this is why it's so important to connect the second round. After you win one, when you've already lost a couple, it's really important, because if you don't find that victory in round number 2, you're left in this position where Ex-Fragsters just fly through the map. They have very little, by the way, of resistance across these rounds. This is probably one of the better chances for Ldlc, because at least they have got some pieces of armor. You can see in a couple of the, particularly the CZs that were fighting in the previous round, they were getting gun kicked to high heaven by Mac 10s. And indeed by the AK battle in T main. So gives them a bit more versatility in terms of taking fights. The head spotted, but the shot not connected. Dragonfly drops a Molotov to force him all the way back down secret. As it looks like, again, Ex-Fragsters are looking to take this A bomb site. We've already got Heaven Control splitting in through main as well. Madhead manages to find one onto Stown, rather, who was already low. But Nodios cleans up directly afterwards, leaving only XMS. 5-7 in armor. Oh, and he's caught. Gold Smedden. Dragonfly off guard. Let's into a 1v3. Not too winnable of a situation, but every little helps in terms of damage. And if he can find a rifle to save, that'll be even better. Look what's waiting for him. A beautiful auto shotgun.
Yeah, it's not really that big of a save, though, considering they will be fully investing in the next round. But I guess maybe Ldlc wouldn't mind hanging on to it. Could probably play it on towards the hut or something instead of ramp, where it'd be a little bit more useful. But let's see. XMS saving that over isn't even confirmed, because he is about to run into a couple of players. Nodios, just about spots him and will indeed take him down. 3 for him in that round. He had a little bit of a poor performance on Inferno just a few moments ago, of course, against Uruguay. So it's good to see him starting off very strong here on Nuke. He's currently sitting at 7-2 on the scoreboard.
And not too shoddy of a start for him, or TA as well, up there on 7 kills. Been getting the work done so far. This is the real fight, though. Ldlc now got plenty of money and plenty of scopes.
They've no defuse kit, though, and not a lot of utility after the initial kind of sporty utility that they do have to throw to stop the fast plays.
Indeed. I mean, going over to the full AUGs, sometimes you'll see players taking out the FAMAS or something a little bit weaker so they can afford the extra utility. I guess this time Ldlc believes that they'll win just on the aim jewels alone. Although starting things out, that's not the case. The trade comes in quickly from Kwanu, who makes his way down towards that B bomb site, though. Into the 4v4, favoring Ex-Fragsters, especially on a map like Nuke, where running into a weakened defense can give you a huge advantage. Looks like Ex-Fragsters taking control of team main. Combined with the presence they're making towards secret, maybe want to hit B, but as Twanu finds the kill there, they know he's no longer on ramp. Problem is, down on the B bomb side with an AWP, as they come down the ramp, they're in a lot of danger of being picked off by him.
Looks like they are actually just going to bring it out towards A, though. XMS in main being the first point of contact. Oh, spamming away there onto Stown, and Nodios peeks out just to take the frag. Only if Sixer on the bomb site alone. He's going to need that rotation to come in very quickly indeed. Will be able to at least find that first frag, dropping the bomb, doubles down onto RTA. And suddenly it's all onto Stown. He has the op, he has 2 players to try and find, 10 seconds to do so. Gets the first. That's actually going to give him the bomb plant now. Doesn't know where Twanu is coming from, which of course will favor the Belgian player. But Stown has now spotted it. He's ready on the op. Doesn't manage to connect the shot the first time around, but he's continuing to play with his opponent, getting the info as he jump peaks. Now not actually being too sure, of course. Twanu kind of getting into a spot where he can no longer be seen by that jump peak up a little bit closer, and he's creeping up on the right side. Oh my god, Stown! He connects the flick, hearing the first step. And it's 6-1 for Ex-Fragsters. They continue to increase this lead. And that is a massive clutch coming in from the young Dane.
What in God's name was that? 6-1. Ex-Fragsters are so heavily ahead right now, and if you've got that level of individuality playing through, I'm feeling very afraid for Ldlc. Coming into this, I expected a very close match, and while I don't want to say all hope is lost for Ldlc, we definitely need to see a lot more from them. Now only on pistols, this is almost a guaranteed Brazil for Ex-Fragsters. The 7-1 should develop. And, I mean, putting 7 rounds in the hands of a T side on Nuke with only 8 rounds played, this is some scary stuff right now.
Very scary indeed. Ldlc not really putting up any form of a fight right now on this map. They had that previous round being fairly close, but other than that, it's been pretty much Ex-Fragsters in full control so far. Twanu going to be mollied out of that position, was looking tempted to try and take a peek and see if he could find anything on the Deagle. But now the AK is closing in the distance. Maybe the pistols can find something here, but it's not going to be easy. Matend able to find one, and Twanu actually does manage to come in as well and take down Torben in return. So suddenly it is that 4v3, a man advantage being found, but the only problem is those weapons not going to be too easy to retrieve. As I say that though, Devodivek will advance forward and pick it up, and they actually do have the bomb dropped in the open as well.
Down goes Devodivek though. This causes a big problem for Ldlc. As the push comes down with a flash bang, Nodios eventually, he misses the spray completely on XMS, turns around and takes Twanu down. Fair enough. Sixer's not able to do anything. Shot in the back with the AK. 7-1. Decent damage done by Ldlc. But again, look at Fragsters' economy. Ex-Fragsters' economy at this point. They've built up quite a lot of money. It won't be possible to instantly hard reset them. They'd get a majority buyout. Or no, they get a full buyout because RTA is 8k as well. So the only player that would really struggle would be Stown. He'd be able to be dropped over because RTA has got a plethora of money. And coming into this, this is a completely different Ex-Fragsters we're seeing. Pushing through that smoke, though, is a little bit ambitious. Sixer and XMS find themselves too. They haven't spotted Sixer? How's he allowed to just stay up on the rafters like that? It's all onto Dragonfly, and it's all taken off him pretty quickly. That was a sloppy round. I mean, they pushed out to the bomb site, a little bit staggered. And then even when they got out, Sixer had already claimed 1 life, done a lot of damage to another, and yet he just goes completely unchecked.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the ideal way for Ldlc to actually get themselves back into this game. They're not quite there yet, but being able to pick up that first round with all 5 players alive gives them the perfect buy, of course, coming into this round. Leaves them with some money in the bank as well. And let's see if they can actually chain the rounds together now, because Ex-Fragsters, they've looked so strong across the board. Everyone's stepping up when it's needed. Stown looking for the spam, actually manages to come out on top of the damage as he brings XMS down to 61. Early on, it's a slight HP advantage, of course, being found, though. He actually follows it up a little bit more right there, so he knows his angle. It's just chipping away at the health. But for now, Ex-Fragsters, they are seemingly taking their time. Just a bit of a default coming in, perhaps setting up to try and get this outside control. And of course, it is going to be, I believe, just Maten to try and hold this down. He's playing down in secret currently.
Yeah, the only control towards outside is in his hands. You've actually got Twanu, of course, on the AWP, but the problem is he's smoked off. So he can't see that whether they push down towards Secret or not. Makes his way to Heaven eventually for a little bit more support. It's a better angle over these smokes that are being thrown close. The flashbang over. It's going to be a push towards the A-bomb side again, taking control towards Heaven. But in hell, Twanu brings the meaning of that word alive for Ex-Fragsters as they lose a player straight away. Madhand at least is traded back. So puts us into a 4v4. Fragsters at least keeping themselves in a somewhat decent position. They've pushed Twanu back as well. Towards the bottom side at this point. Actually going in for a bit of an aggressive peek, but it's Ldlc finding one and then two on the peek from Ramp, but he turns around, not able to take down Stown. But we are into a 2v3. Bomb picked up. They're going to look to move towards B. 10 seconds on the clock. This has to be fast. If Ldlc get a read on this, they can stop that bomb plant right away. And I don't think he doesn't have time.
Yeah, a little bit awkward that he wasn't actually able to get it down in time. Do manage to save over the 2 rifles, but even with that, I don't think Ex-Fragsters really want to buy in this round. They would likely be best off just taking the eco, but the problem is, even then, Dragonfly and Stown won't be able to buy in the next round. So it's a little bit awkward. They do decide to just force up. Can't really blame them on that one. But let's see if they're going to be able to make it work. If they don't, Ldlc then should be able to actually bring it up to a 5th round and begin to really recover things. If they can manage to actually get 8 rounds here on the CT side, they'll be in a pretty decent position that they can be happy with. But look at this early on. I think this is the first time we've seen them managing to get someone down vents so early on. The problem is Stown just takes so much damage from, I believe, the Molotov in the process, of course, of coming out door. Oh, and Twanu definitely spotted him. Oh, maybe not initially, but it's an easy headshot being found eventually.
Big rip for Torben with Stown on low HP as well. He'll be easily picked up. Nodios has already fallen too, giving Ldlc pretty hefty advantage into this round. Still 2 AKs in play for Ex-Fragsters, and they've got a bit of ramp control. Ldlc has to get the work done from the B bomb site. They're coming in from almost every angle. Falls to the first fight, meaning the bomb plant will be secured. Over towards the secret doors, they got to be careful. Twanu is there. He's got an AWP though, not ideal for pushing this angle, so we'll probably see him back off a little bit. Really got to go for this with a teammate, considering he's coming from secret.
Oh, and here we go, Madhand. Nice find on towards the player on the bomb site, and that of course leaves RTA. Gets the first and the second, but it costs him a lot of health, and now he's down very low. Hang on, though, maybe able to actually spot the diffuser from this position. Oh my god, RTA! He stopped Sixer from being able to find it. Twanu, there's nothing he can do about this. Gets the frag, but that's a small consolation at this point, of course, because it is going to be the round going in favor of Ex-Fragsters, and a reset coming in as Ldlc. They're put in a pretty awkward position. They will probably buy up because Twanu can drop, Sixer and XMS can buy for themselves pretty easily, and one of them can likely drop over a rifle as well. So it is still the full investment, but 8 already on the T side for Ex-Fragsters is a very good showing so far.
You got to feel for Twanu. I mean, he has to cover one of those angles, chose the doors. Unfortunately, he ran towards them, which meant, of course, that RTA was able to hear those footsteps and take him out immediately. Smoke goes down on ramp to stop that Molotov. Ldlc about to be pushed down. No flashbangs though, so they just jump through. 3 kills for him. Madhand helps out with a quick double to close out the round. And we're 8-4. Round secured for Ldlc very quickly and very cleanly. I'm surprised we didn't even see a flash go down there as you push out the ramp. So much utility usage, but it was all smokes. Oh,
not much damage though.
Left click.
But yeah, no, it seems like they're getting a little bit complacent once they actually do start winning those rounds again, because we've seen the previous time when they ran out A through the door and they just weren't really paying attention to 6 or above or anything and ended up costing them a round win. That one, they just go straight through the ramp smoke for a strange reason. So I'm not too sure. It feels like they definitely are getting somewhat complacent. As I said, though, 8 rounds already on the T side is a really good result for them, but with the start that they had, they probably will be aiming for at least a little bit more. Oh, there we go. Nodios, he's been spectacular with the aim in this game so far. Bar, of course, that strange spray down earlier that still worked out.
Yeah, still came out on top in that situation somehow. But like an open deagle pick, it's not the end of the world for Ldlc, realistically. Got a lot to work with. A massive advantage. XMS in danger here. The pistols will go into trade and they'll find it. 2v3, not bad. I mean, it gives Ex-Fragsters the opportunity to potentially find a bomb plant with a further trade. Towards the A-bomb side, it's going to be the more difficult one to push. Twanu's helping from outside. You've also got Sixer up close on the AUG. They're not in a position to support each other, though. That's a bit of a problem, but taking the 1v1, Twanu comes out on top. And Sixer doesn't do too bad either. So we're going over 8-5. Ldlc on the road to recovery. Still, 8 rounds is huge for Ex-Fragsters right now. Anything they pick up from here on out is just a bonus. But it looks like this round's going to be played as an eco. So they'll fight for 9-6.
Yeah, not too surprisingly. As I said, of course, 8 rounds already good on that T side. If they can even just find one more, it puts them in a pretty great position, having that lead by 3 rounds already as they swap to the defense, of course. But yeah, this one, 2v250s is all they really have to work with. They're going to walk straight into the crosshair of Sixer, and of course the Molotov as well, doing some good damage. And Stown, he's unlikely to survive much longer. He may find a kill, but the nade, oh, it actually ends up tagging Sixer. I was afraid it was going to kill XMS, but he just about escaped.
Yeah, I saw that red on XMS, and as soon as he pulled out the nade, I was like, okay, can we relax a little bit? I mean, look, they have the money. Like, Sixer could easily drop over. It would have just been a bit of a rude play to nade your teammate in that position.
As Henry it's a bit of a blunder.
Well, I think he just desperately wanted to get that kill.
Yeah, it's my
So you got four teammates rallied around the guy trying to kill him. You just come in from afar. Boop! Mine. He didn't care about the cost, Dean.
Oh, it's all just casualties of war. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting approach here, it seems, from Ex-Fragsters. A much quicker one. We haven't really seen them actually go for the straight up ace split, dropping over the hut as well, but it actually doesn't go too great for them initially. The trades have gone in favor of Ldlc, and Twanu snatching away another as we see Dragonfly getting taken down. Leaves it all onto Stown. He's had one nice clutch so far in this, but I don't know if he's going to be allowed to do it this time around. He is completely surrounded. And XMS from Heaven finishes him off. A 7th round for Ldlc, and overall a pretty good recovery, you do have to say, from them on that CT side. After a very weak start, I think being down 6 or 5-1 at one point.
Oh, for sure. Look, considering how things started, it's a pretty good performance. But all in all, 8 rounds now, a 1-round advantage for Ex-Fragsters on their CT side. Puts them in a very nice spot as we move into the pistol round shortly. Waiting for the players to ready up. I do feel like Ex-Fragsters is certainly going to be the more favored team at the moment by a long shot. But again, we've seen that recovery from Ldlc. They stepped up their performance. They started to get a lot more done in the last kind of 10 rounds or so. So I don't think all hope is lost just yet.
Oh no, definitely not. I'd say it's an overall equal enough position in terms of kind of the way the momentum and stuff is going at this second, but Ex-Fragsters, of course, are still in a little bit of a favored spot having that lead as they swap to the CT side. But of course, this upcoming pistol round going to be super important. If Ldlc can pick that up, they should be finding the lead. And of course, being able to actually get that solid start on the T side and get control of the economy perhaps early on will be a big bonus for them.
I think one of the things that we kind of look towards Ldlc, though, now that they're starting out on the T side, there's a little bit of worry for me because when they took on, for example, Existence Galaxy, they found 12 rounds on their CT side and only managed 4 on their T. Now, that brings them to 16, sure, but it actually went all the way to 16-14. So they didn't have the best of scorelines. Now, Existence, a very strong team, but we saw similar for them, you know, losing out the majority of their T rounds up against Sprout as well. So far in recent memory, this hasn't been a fantastic map for them on the T side. So we need to see things change, and already XMS opens it up. A little bit of confidence for this Ldlc side as Guldsmeden goes down. We're into a 5 versus 4.
Yeah, Mathen is pretty much dead at this point, though, but it may not matter if the kills continue to go in favor of Ldlc because they're just swarming this, and they're actually going to take it up through Vent onto A. This is, of course, the correct decision. You can see already Torben and RTA had rotated down. So it is going to give them pretty much a free bomb plant. The 2v5, Torben and RTA, I don't really know if there's much chance for them in this retake. And as you can see, Ldlc have left some people wandering around. It's Davidovec with one more, and RTA left all alone. This is going to be the scoreline being equalized at 8-8, Mitch.
Yeah, indeed it should be, unless RTA can pull out an amazing ace with this USP. think we can confidently say that we're pulling over 8-8. LDLC have started out their T side pretty well. This is what we saw from Ex-Fragsters, of course. They started it out well over on that T side. They had a good run. They won the pistol and obviously the second when they were up against an eco. Lost one, got the reset in, and then found 5 in a row on the T side. LDLC need a similar feat because they have to win out their T side, which is not the easiest, especially for a team that traditionally has done a lot better on CT than on the T side.
One thing to be said,
well. Yeah.
One thing to be said, though, is Ex-Fragsters, they seem to be starting off strong and then kind of letting it slip away. That was what we seen in that previous matchup against Uruguay, so maybe that's a bit of a tendency that they have.
Well, they want to start this one off strong. Look at that force buy coming in on the back of RTA saving full armor. He takes the head armor and a UMP. Everybody else going in for pistols or one of the scouts that Stown and indeed Dragonfly have taken out. So it's an interesting start for them. Yeah. On the CT side, look, if those scouts can deal the damage, you already see Twanu down at 25 HP. You can certainly have those pistols coming into play really quickly, and RTA already takes one with the UMP. Problem is, Gould Samed's not in the best position. There's close range up against the Galil. You're not going to do too well with that scout. He does tag him, but, you know, the guy's still 30 HP and still poses a serious threat in the round.
Yeah, but Twanu taken out now. It's going to be finished off by the scout. That's a nice little upgrade to an AK first down as well to be actually put into his hands. And as we can see, with Matend and Six are both being very low, this could definitely still be quite dangerous for LDLC. Devadovec, though, good position, able to take down Stown. That's the AK gone now, makes things a little bit easier for them. But again, they still have to be cautious. Nodios with this CZ, he could do so much damage. And he actually does manage to drop the bomb in door. Torben hits the headshot, and now it's all on the Sixer. It wasn't expected for him to be coming from lobby, but Nodios turns around just in time and finds himself a nice headshot. Ex-Fragsters, they come out on top of the force by, they make it work, and they go ahead and reclaim that lead.
Nodios is playing out of his mind right now. Only 13 kills, but I think the percentage of round impact that he's had hasn't been too high, but when he gets involved in a round, he's just opening it up for his team. Right now on 9-8, Ex-Fragsters getting the reset into LDLC early on. Leaves LDLC with no choice but to take out Deagles and Armor if they want to have any chance of winning these rounds early on. Yeah, they could have taken a save, gone for a weak-ish buy in the next round, but I guess they don't want to allow Ex-Fragsters to build up any momentum.
Ooh, nice shot by Stown there. And it seems like they are having a pretty easy time up against this force buy right now. Six are also getting taken down. Not a single kill to be found so far, and it is only XMS now that remains. Being cautious as he looks to try and come out of hut. Does have the bomb on his back, but once he steps out, there's a player up on top of the hut itself. There's a rotation that can be called for. As you can see, actually, I believe Nodios is inside the bomb site itself behind that vent. So yeah, there wasn't really much you could do. Taken down, and Ex-Fragsters are going to go ahead and find double digits, and likely an 11th round now off the back of it, because this is going to have to be that full eco from LDLC.
Yeah, here's one of the problems now. Look, if you come into a round like that and you're going for that force buy, you have to get damage in, because knowing that you're taking an eco here, look at the control Ex-Fragsters are going to have over their economy. If they don't lose any players here, or if they just lose one, they're going to be sitting very high, even if they high on money, even if they lose the next round. Reset potential not really there. My God, and Dean, I think it's safe to say they're not going to be losing any players.
Nah, it doesn't look like it. I was a little bit worried for Nodios, to be honest, just because there were so many players. Matend not going to get the plant now.
Yeah, but he was so staggered. He had a chance to get the plant, but I think he dropped the bomb in the doorway and then closed the door on himself and just got very flustered.
It just be like that sometimes, Mitch.
Life does be like that.
Not much you can do about it. But yeah, LDLC, they're on the buy now. But of course, this is one that they need to make work. Otherwise, Ex-Fragsters are really just going to begin to run away with the lead yet again early on into the half. And I would say most importantly, going to build up a great economy. Oh, Devadovec, that was a nice spam-driven event. Actually taking down Dragonfly very early on. And I don't think he really knew what was coming right there, because I don't believe he was even showing himself.
Not how you like to go. But LDLC certainly happy to find that opening pick. Stown's going to go and try and claim a life on outside. He might just do it. Kwanu swings out in the open, but now he's spotted. He knows that Stown's there. He's going to wait for a repeat to come in. As Torben claims one on the A-bomb side. LDLC still angling towards here. Ldlc just pushes out. He's going to swing out, find the kill. It was a headshot onto Torben, so the low HP didn't even matter. A headshot onto Stown with an AWP. That'll certainly do the business. We're into a 4 versus 2 as Ortier and Nodios have got to pull off a beautiful clutch. A great position from Nodios. I don't know if this is quite going to be expected aggressive in the door. He might catch Sixer with the bomb as he pushes through. Doesn't look like Sixer is any iota that he's there. No, he doesn't. Is he going for the knife kill? He's waiting. He's watching, and there he goes. Finds a second. There we go. Twanu's down. Reload in. He knows there's a player coming in through Blue Hut. Swings out on Ldlc and gets a third. And again, Dean, this is what we've said about Nodios time and time again. He might not be there in every round, but when he gets involved, he really gets involved.
Yeah, what a play. I was really scared, I'm not going to lie, because when Twanu was walking in through main, he was looking towards door, being cautious of it. And yeah, he just looked away just as Nodios pounced, was able to also manage to find that second frag and eventually turned it into a triple. So a great play from Nodios around that Ldlc really should have been able to have actually taken in their favor. And without an they're in such a tough position. They're back on the pistols. It's just 5 Deegs in this round. And we should most likely see Ex-Fragsters taking that 13-8 lead.
Well, there's a couple of Deagles sitting between them and that 13-8, and XMS is already making it work for one. Nodios trying to swing in and get some damage done, but he's taken down as well. Trades as they may be, that's not too good against the pistols. Sixer with a very swift shot onto Ortier. Luckily, it's returned, and we're into a 2v1. Still lots of damage done by Ldlc in this round, even though they fall by the wayside directly after. But it's a little bit late for the damage to start building up, because you can see Ex-Fragsters have got a lot of money. 10k on the players that need to rebuy. Torben gets dropped an AUG, and so he has no money worries either. And again, you can see there's at least 2 more full buys. Even if Ex-Fragsters lose this round, they'll easily get another full buy out, and then possibly even a mixed buy afterwards, which puts Ldlc in a very awkward spot. They're on the T side of Nuke. They're not having a lot of success. They haven't had a lot of success historically here. And this round's opened up pretty poorly for them as well. Plus, the economy is working against them.
Yeah, it's just really not looking good for the French side right now. Being kind of torn apart one by one. Ldlc, he's in a decent position though. Wild Spray eventually finds that frag. But first costs him a lot in terms of the health, making him an easy return for Torben, who's going to continue to find the frags, eventually fall into Twanu. But again, it remains in a favorable position for Ex-Fragsters, or at least it did. Sixer trying to have something to say about that. We'll be able to find one on outside.
Stown was hoping to return that and actually continues, swings out onto Sixer and eliminates him, leaving only Twanu in a 1 versus 2. Try and pull this off with an AWP and no control over the bomb. With 50 seconds, at least the time isn't too low. But he doesn't know there's a player already in radio. He's heard as he picks up the bomb, and Ortier doesn't swing out. He's playing it passive. At least he has the information that movement's going to be coming over towards the A-bomb site. So Stown's in position, ready to take Twanu down as he investigated the vents. He got executed. 14-8. 2 rounds left for Ex-Fragsters. And with the control they've managed to gain themselves over the economy, I feel like this is all but over for Ldlc. It would be a massive comeback for them at this point.
Yeah, I'm not too confident in them actually being able to pull this one off. Twanu very late out of spawn as well, eventually getting a Mach 10. And right now Ex-Fragsters just looking too good here on the CT side of Nuke, has to be said. But we did see them let a couple of leads slip away before. Back on Inferno, and of course just earlier on in the first half of this matchup. So you can never count out the opposing side. Ldlc, they're going to put up the best fight that they possibly can, and let's see what goes for them. Early on, they're looking for that outside control. A little bit of a change up in the wall of smoke so that they can get the control towards Garage. Sadly, even though Sixer finds the open and frag, Nodios, of course, returns one pretty much instantly.
Indeed, it seems like Ldlc are finding it so hard to get ahead. And again, look, I think they're in an okay position in a 4v4. You've got to take into consideration the Mach 10 on Twanu, and indeed their map presence. You know, Ex-Fragsters have got a lot of players on the A-bomb site. If they decide to split there, they're relying on winning out the aim. Oh no, the knife's going to come through. That's not a good sign. Money built up at least. And also an AWP on offer. Twanu would do well to go and pick that up. He's only got a Mag 10 in play. But into a 4v3, that's a man advantage for the T side. And a little bit of disrespect.
Yeah, and they're going to push on the B, where it is only, I believe, RTA right now to try and hold this down towards the double doors. XMS actually also finding some control up towards A as he comes from heaven, so I guess they could really commit to either bomb site. XMS able to somehow find that fraggle. We just take a dink in the process, but I believe that kill should pretty much solidify this round win in favor of Ldlc. I wouldn't imagine Nodios and RTA really want much to do with this retake, although RTA is still beginning to move forward somewhat, and of course eventually into Doom as we see the AK shut him down.
Yeah, they kind of needed to save over both of those weapons as well. Like, Dragonfly's not got a lot of money. The AWP's dropped over to him. Okay, so it is going to be the force buy. Nodios now on an auto shotgun.
Ooh, they get a second up though.
Oh, indeed. Down investing all of his economy into this. Okay, then maybe make up for the auto, and the auto's not necessarily useless either. We could certainly see some impact from the CT side. But again, 14-9. This is Ldlc. We need to see them clocking up the rounds. This is a great opportunity for them. If they win this, it should be 14-11 before they face another full buy. At that point, I mean, not all hope is lost.
You know, it's definitely still doable for Ldlc. This round is, as you said, though, of course, needed for them to actually try and give themselves that opportunity. And right now, it is just the default split up across the map, waiting to see where they can actually just manage to find some opening frags. You can see good coordination, and actually they're able to get the control in towards main. That gives them now, if they want, the opportunity to split onto that A bomb site pretty quickly. But XMS pushing forward alone on ramp is going to gift themselves over to the Og of RTA.
Indeed, and a man advantage for Ex-Fragsters is not something we've seen them throw away on the CT side all too often, especially when they take another. Twanu down, the bomb being taken by the CT side. Luckily, the pick does come in for Madhand, but he's now low HP. Being pursued. It's a little bit ambitious for Nodios to try and take that kill, but RTA coming up behind at 4 HP. Madhand should deal with him pretty quickly, and that almost rules out the A bomb site for potential plants. They have to find the kill onto RTA before getting the bomb down, and they do it pretty easily. No idea that Sixer could be right below him. RTA falls down. Waiting to try and spot someone out. The wall bang onto Sixer. And with Ldlc being only 26 HP, this is very possibly the end of the road for Ldlc right now. They'll be reset. They'll get a little bit of bonus money from the bomb being planted. Waiting for Ldlc to come on in. Dragonfly coming up behind Ldlc. Could almost go for the knife. What did he make steps though? And so Ldlc turns around. The defuse going in. He has to run over there. It's a full 10-second defuse. This actually fools Ldlc. He has no idea that that bomb's being stuck. And there it is, the round one. Although the kill's found afterwards, Dean, that's a devastating way to lose it. A 10-second defuse being stuck.
Yeah, that's awkward indeed. You kind of understand, though, the play from Matt End, presuming that they'd have a kiss since they were working with an okay economy overall after winning quite a few rounds in a row. And, of course, with he himself being very low on health, he didn't really want to take the gamble of actually getting shot at, of course. So it's a little bit unfortunate, of course, that it was the 10-second defuse, just the straight-up stick. But that puts Ldlc in a horrible position now. At least they did manage to keep that up in play, saving that over, giving it to Twanu. They do have a better buy than their opponents. But look at this from Nodios. He pretty much has that player pinned in on the left side, spots the shoulder, and actually does get taken down pretty much instantly, domed by Ldlc. As it is going to be Ldlc early on, finding that one-man advantage. Maybe this is the start of a comeback that could still happen to send it to overtime.
Perhaps a man advantage in play. Ldlc extended even further, but in behind comes Ldlc. Dragonfly doing the work. Torben follows up with a little bit more. Drops down to keep himself safe. Into the 2v2. Stavin takes one. Torben on another. And that's the end of that. Very quickly, things fly back in favor. Way along, really.
That was a little bit of an awkward way for it to end. It looked like they were starting to round off pretty good as well with that man advantage, but just straight up tried to commit. And of course, as you could see, Ex-Fragsters were prepared for that to hold it down. And they do actually manage to at least take that victory here on one of the maps today. Of course, we've seen them against Uruguay before that, and they did end up suffering a pretty big defeat. So maybe that's good for them, a little bit rejuvenated perhaps off of that victory. But yeah, it definitely wasn't really what we were expecting from LDLC. They have had some roster changes, of course, losing their in-game leader, Logan, and maybe that's affected them. Nuke map, of course, that you do need a lot of preparation on, especially on the T side.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of respect over to Nodios, considering such a bad first game up against Uruguay to come back into things now up against LDLC and be definitely the star player. He top fragged the server, but even outside of that, his impact was tangible as we went through that whole game. You could see every time he got involved in a round, it was 2 to 3 kills, and he had a couple of really important clutches that kept Ex-Fragsters in the lead and indeed reset a couple of times LDLC and just kept beating them down every time that they thought they had an opportunity to close things out.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like the Danes were pretty much in control throughout that entire game. I don't think there was too many positions where it seemed like LDLC were even kind of beginning to get their feet on the ground. There was that kind of one, I guess, the one like strip of rounds they got towards the end of the first half, but even then they weren't very convincing. A lot of them were quite close and coming down to the 1v1s, etc. So it definitely seemed like X-Fragsters were the better team on Nuke today.
For sure, they were not the better team in the first game, but definitely came back into it over on Nuke and showed us who was boss and that that's not all they had in the tank. That said, that's the end of the action for today here on ESEA. We hope you've enjoyed yourself. My name is Mitch. That's Dean. And this is ESEA MDLEU. We'll catch you here same time next week. Maybe not the same time. We'll confirm that, I guess. But definitely the same day next week. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.